ask somebody who here in the VIP, because like we just ended the VIP session, so welcome to all the Facebook folks. I'm going to put it in. Did you make me the host again, Laura? Can you make me the host again? Because otherwise they're going to be seeing your screen. Okay. And
back to you.
Okay, cool. So can somebody who's a VIP unmute yourself and share a testimony of how the VIP has been valuable to the VIP, like being a part of the VIP experience has been valuable to you, while I get myself ready for the main session.
Myron?
Go ahead, Mark.
Oh, thank you. Well, I haven't asked any questions in the VIP, but I've listened to every one of them and paid attention. And a lot of people ask questions that I actually had. So I noticed I'm certain, on day one, somebody asked you a question. And a part of your answer was you very matter-of-factly and very sternly said, people don't care about what your process is. They don't care how many parts are in your thing. They don't care what you put into it. They only care what it's going to do for them. They only care about that result. And I had a one-on-one appointment to meet with a new client that day, and I was selling a new product that was new to me, and I could just hear that in my head the whole time I talked to her. And I knew that the important thing for her was growing her profits and growing her revenues. And so rather than spend all the time talking about, I'm going to repackage your financials, I'm going to make your business present better and look better and all, the only thing we talked about was her return, making more profits, and then of course getting a higher price when she eventually sells her business. She would not let me leave without paying me and getting started. So it's only because I could hear you saying over and over, people don't care what your product is. People don't care how many parts you have in it. People don't care about your process. And that hurt my feelings a little bit because I love my process. But it was wonderful, and I thank you for that.
All right, give it up for Mark, y'all. Good stuff. And Mark, let me ask you this: how much was that sale, if you don't mind sharing with folks?
It was $18,000.
$18,000 sale
that I would not have made that day had I not replayed your words over in my head. I'd be waiting for a decision, possibly into infinity.
Good stuff. Like this stuff that we teach here, it's not theory, y'all. It works for anybody. Somebody else. Thank you, Mark. Appreciate that, bro. One more VIP testimony. What's your big takeaway? And it doesn't have to be from the VIP. It could be from the challenge itself. Somebody tell me, unmute and tell me your big takeaway.
Hey, this is Odell.
Odell, talk to me, brother.
Yeah, so biggest takeaway, you just talked about doing an event and making the offer. All the stuff that you talked about, I had the ingredients, but it was like watching a master chef prepared in front of me. It was just like, you do this, do that, and then you charge this. And it was just kind of like a light bulb came on. It's like, okay, that's what I'm going to do. I already set the date for the event. I already got a title for the event. So I'm ready to go. And it was reassuring. It was confirmation, divine assignment, whatever you want to call it. But that's the biggest takeaway I got.
Good stuff, bro. Good stuff. Good stuff, Odell. Man, I'm so excited for y'all. I thought I heard somebody else trying to chime in. If you were, I'm going to let you go ahead and go. Otherwise, I'm going to get it started. Was somebody else getting ready to say something when Odell chimed in?
Yes, Jasmine. Oh, sorry. Was there someone else?
It was me. Hey, everybody.
Shauna Banana, and then Jasmine will come to you, and then we'll get started. Go ahead.
Yes. Yesterday, after listening to, I believe his name is Randy, I went ahead and I listened to the podcast because he was stating how.
Oh, Ryan. Yeah.
Ryan, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no worries.
Sorry. Ryan. And I went over and listened to your podcast. So I was feeling really, really cruddy. I just had a certain level of success in my business, and then now I want to go for the big 7. But just overall, just was feeling really down. And I listened to the podcast, and just as Ryan was saying, I asked God to please show me, what the next steps are. because if you heard me yesterday, it was a pretty not good day for me. So anyhow, being obedient, listen to the podcast, came on today, listened to you, and it all just clicked. God showed me exactly why I'm feeling the way I'm feeling, and with my goal being so large at the end of the year. So with that, what you just said, just totally, I made my money back and more. Just listen to what you just said. When you said when you have that intention, and then the second part is the disruption. That void that I'm feeling right now just all makes sense, because I'm like, oh, God, what? And he just,
That's awesome.
gave me the answer. So thank you for being obedient and delivering that message, because that was just right on time. So
Good
I'm ready
stuff.
to sell.
Let's go. Good stuff. Good for Shauna Banana. I appreciate that. And it doesn't bother you when I say that, does it, Shauna?
No, that's
Okay.
no, not
Okay.
at all.
Good. Okay. Cool. That's how you got me to remember your name. So it clicks. That's how I remember it. Jasmine, talk to me, sister.
So I'll just go really quick, and I just want to say thank you so much for this experience. I wasn't even going to hop into VIP, but I just did it, and I'm really thankful. And so same with what Mark was saying about, we're very passionate about our process, about, how we get our clients results. But yesterday, learning from you about focusing on the feeling and focusing on the payoff, I just totally went off script on a consult call. And I've been struggling to sell a $1,500 program. And yesterday I just kind of took your concept of the inner circle and created a $4,000 program. And I offered that to someone, and I was like, the feeling of just myself being so confident, and the person was very receptive to that and like ready to rock and roll. So I'm just waiting to kind of close that, but I never would have even tried to offer that, and I haven't even created it yet. So thank you.
That's so awesome. That's so awesome. Good stuff, Jasmine. I love the transformations y'all are having. This is why I do what I do, y'all. It's just, it just feels so good. Okay, so let's get started today. I'm gonna share with y'all, like, the first thing that I want to share with y'all is this. I want to tell you my high ticket story. Today, I'm going to teach you like about high ticket selling and why high ticket selling is so good. Now, high ticket selling is not just high ticket. It has to be high value, right? You can't have a high ticket and a low value, right? If it's going to be high ticket, it has to be high value. And in order for it to be high value, it has to be a result that the person that you're selling it to values. It can't just be a result that you value. And so I've been in the coaching, information marketing, selling space since 2003. And I remember my very first offer was a $147 offer. And I was talking to about 135 people, and I did $5,900 in sales. And I thought, oh my goodness, what just happened? This is going to be amazing, right? And I remember in 2004, when I offered my first high ticket product, I decided, like, how many of y'all know your mind plays tricks on you, right? Your mind plays tricks on you. So if you understand your mind plays tricks on you, then sometimes you got to play tricks on your mind so you can break free from the tricks your mind plays on you. How many of y'all picked up what I just put down, right? And so, like, I had all of these limiting beliefs in my mind. By the way, the only limitations you have are in here anyway. You don't have any limitations out here until you create them from in here. Did y'all hear what I just said? Okay, good. Hope y'all was paying attention. Y'all seeing my crazy eyes? Okay, I ain't playing, okay? So I decided what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna offer this high ticket program. Nobody's gonna buy it. It's gonna be $3,000, and that's as high, like that's so high. Nobody's ever, like, I literally can remember having that thought. Nobody's going to pay me $3,000 to learn how to do something. And at that time, I had been selling network marketing training for about a year. And so I was really, really good at selling my network marketing training programs from the stage. I had had $20,000 days and $30,000 days, and even had a $60,000 day. And so I was like, I got this. I can teach you how to sell from stage, right? And so I said, I'm going to make this sell from stage program. I'm going to make it this ridiculous price. Like, I'm going to price myself out of the market and nobody's going to buy it. But if they don't, at least I offered it. And if I don't offer it, they're not buying it anyway. And so I talked myself into selling it for $3,000. And I made this offer in the small event. There might have been 15, 20 people there. And 2 people said, yeah, I'll take you up on that $3,000 offer. I'm like, wait, what? What? You want it? Like, I didn't do it because I had all this confidence. Like, I wasn't the Myron Golden. Myron Golden. I was just a guy trying to figure out how to sell high ticket. And I said, I'm going to sell for $3,000. 2 people bought it. I remember the 2 people who bought it. I know exactly who they are to this very day, right? And they both became longtime friends of mine. But it's just mind-blowing that I didn't think anybody would buy it. And sometimes you think people who are close to you, they're certainly not going to buy it. Well, the first 2 people who bought were 2 of my friends, right? And they paid me $3,000 a piece. And I sold other stuff at that event, but like those 2 sales made me the majority of revenue I made from that event. I thought, wow, there are people out here who paid me $3,000. I must have made the price too low. Like literally the next month when I did an event again, I offered that program, same program, for $4,000. Now I know nobody's going to buy it. 7 people bought it. And I raised the price and sold more. I'm like, wait, what? Do you realize from 2004 until 2019, however many years that is, that's a bunch of years, right? 23 years, 20, 24, 25 years, 2004, something like, it's, how many, 15 years? 15 years. Okay, 15 years. My math is, I'm getting all excited about that $4,000 those 7 people paid me, and I made $28,000. Like, and I was jacked. I was like, wait, this is crazy. People will pay me a lot of money for stuff too, not just $500 here, $1,000 there, $1,500 there. Like, if I say it's $4,000, I'll still pay. I kept raising the price of that program until I stopped selling it in 2019. Now I don't sell it anymore. You know how much it was when I stopped selling it? $35,000, and more people bought it at $35,000 than bought it at $4,000. So what's the lesson? The lesson is the first thing you got to do if you're going to sell high ticket, you have to play a trick on yourself. You got to trick your mind. You got to make a price. You got to make an offer where the price is so high that you don't think anybody's ever going to pay you that amount of money. And then just go around and start making that offer. I had this conversation with Shay and Trevor. Some of y'all may know Shay and Trevor. Shay Brown and Trevor Otts. And they're business partners. They're guerrilla marketers. These guys are brilliant. They were speaking at one of my events one time, and I asked them a question. I said, "Hey, how many people are you guys doing really well selling your $50,000 product?" They said, "No, we're not." I said, "Would you like me to tell you why?" They said, "Yeah." I said, "Because you don't have a $50,000 product to sell." They said, "Ooh." They went and created a $50,000 product, and they started selling it, and it started becoming the best-selling product they had. I'm telling you these stories because I want you to, you deserve to know the truth. But when I said that to them, like when I was giving Shay and Trevor that advice, that little voice that you get sometimes, you know that little voice? Mine. Hey, mine. Sometimes it screams right in your ear, right? So you know why you ain't selling your $1 million program? Why? Because you don't have a $1 million program to sell. I said, oh, man, why you got to use my own stuff on me? I was talking to myself. And I said, okay, I'm going to start offering a $1 million program. I started offering a $1 million program in November of 2018. And I sold my first one in January of 2020. But I made the offer every time I stood up. Say, what's your point? The $1 million offer you don't make, or the high ticket offer you don't make, I'm not going to call it $1 million. The high ticket offer you don't make is a high ticket offer they can't take. Do you hear me? The high ticket offer you don't make is a high ticket offer they can't take. And if you're selling a $100 product and you want to get to $1 million, congratulations, you got to go make 10,000 sales. But if you're selling a $100,000 product, if you're selling a $10,000 product and you want to get to $1 million, you only have to make 100 sales. Guess what? 100 sales is only 2 a week. 100 sales of a $10,000 product is 2 per week. And see, that it changes the game. You think that the marketplace is the one that has stopped you from selling high ticket. But really, your mind chatter. That little voice in your head say, boy, what's wrong with you? You know you acting cray-cray. You more cray-cray than Baby Ray Ray and Nene now. Why you acting all cray-cray? Ain't nobody gonna pay you that kind of money. You must be some kind of out your mind. What's your mom and them gonna think? Am I telling y'all the truth? Right? And so you got that little voice that talks you out of, and you think the marketplace won't pay. The marketplace is out there waiting for you to create your Rolls Royce version of your offer. But you keep offering them Kia Soul. And so you keep us attracting Kia Soul buyers, wondering why you don't have any Rolls Royce buyers. Because you ain't offering them the Rolls Royce experience. How many of y'all picking up what I'm putting down and say, hey, Myron. Okay? So I told y'all all of those stories so you can know that you can do it. Now, here's the caveat. If you are going to sell a high-ticket product, it has to be high value. By the way, there's nothing wrong with a Kia Soul. Kia Soul, the tires are just as round as a Rolls-Royce tires. And the engine starts like a Rolls-Royce engine will start. And the air conditioner is just as cold. The radio plays just as many songs, right? So that's not shade on Kia Soul. I'm just showing you how you're thinking, right? And I remember my brother Mark and my brother Jeff, I think they're both on right now. I remember when they started selling cars, I thought, oh my goodness, they're going to starve to death. Nobody buys new cars. Why did I think that? I thought nobody bought new cars because I had lived my entire life and I was an adult and I had never seen my parents buy a new car in my entire life. So I didn't think people bought new cars because we didn't buy new cars, right? And so like your limitations are only in here. And if I can help you tear down those walls and remove those limitations, then you can break free from this idea that you're broke. I don't let people get away with telling me they can't afford something. Like that's a story you want to tell yourself. Like somebody said, well, yeah, man, I want to take advantage of it, but I can't afford it. Okay. And I'll be really nice. Odell, you want to role play? You want to role play with me, bro? Hit your space bar. So yeah, Odell, say, Myron, I want to participate, but I don't have the money. Go ahead and say that.
Myron, I want to participate, but I don't got the money.
Odell, would it be okay if I just talked to you like you were my little brother? Would that be all right? Like, would it be okay if I talked to you like, if I was going to coach my little brother and he would come into me and he asked me, said that same thing, would it be okay if I coached you like you were my little brother?
Sure, absolutely.
Okay. And this is what I would say to my little brother because I love him. I'd say, okay, Odell, let me ask you this. How long do you want that to be your story?
Not long.
Not long. Okay. What, for another year? 5 years? Another day? Another 5 days? Or like, do you want that to be the story of the past?
Yeah, I want that to be the story of the past.
Okay. So here's my advice to you then. Until you become something different and are willing to do something different, you will never have anything different. Does that make sense?
It does. Thank.
Cool. Right. Exactly. And that's what they do. They thank you. Why? Because I didn't just talk down to him. I asked him if I could talk to him like I talked to my little brother. And then I told him that I love my little brother. And then this is what I would say to my little brother. And so now he's receiving it through the ears of a little brother. He's not receiving it through the ears of some, quote, snobbish rich dude talking down to him because he doesn't have money. You see the difference? Like I said in my Bible study this morning, if you don't like me because of my position, that's your problem. But if you don't like me because of my disposition, that's my problem. See, I know how to agree to disagree with people. Like I can talk to somebody I disagree with and I can still love them and disagree with them. I can still appreciate who they are as a human being and disagree with them. A lot of people can't do that. See, I don't get annoyed with people, right? Only person I ever get annoyed with is myself. Why? Because I don't have any control over other people. So why would I waste any energy getting annoyed with them? Anyway, so how do I determine how much I should charge for my high ticket product? That's a great question, isn't it? So let's do this illustration. Odell, since you're such a good actor, you're hired. You get to play the lead role. Okay. So I'm going to say, Odell, what do I have can you see what I have in my hand? Can you see that?
Yes, sir. It's $100 bill.
$100 bill. So Odell, if I said, I'm going to sell you this $100 bill for $10, you give me 10, I'm going to give you this 100. Is that a good deal for you? He can't get his money out fast.
That's a great deal. How do we do that virtually?
Exactly. So I'll tell you what. So let's pretend that we did it. And I say, okay, Odell, you give me $100 and I'm going to give you not 100. You give me $100. I'm going to give you 1,000. Oh, we're going to pretend. I'm going to give you 1,000. I only have 300 in there, plus my gold $100 bill. So I got my golden $100 bill, and so I'm going to give you give me 100. I'm going to give you 1,000. Is that still a good deal for you?
Yes, that's a great deal.
You want the deal? Okay, you give me 1,000. I'll give you 10,000. You want that deal?
Absolutely, yes.
You give me 10,000, I'll give you 100,000. You want that deal?
Yes, give me the deal.
You give me 100,000, I'll give you $1 million. You want that deal? You probably don't want that one, do you? You give me 100,000, I give you $1 million.
Actually do. If you're gonna give me $1 million, I can find 100.
Okay, so let me ask you this question. If you can only pick one of those deals, 10 for 100, 100 for 1,000, 1,000 for 10,000, 10,000 for 100,000, 100,000 for $1 million. If you can only take one, I'm only going to do one of those deals with you. Which one do you want? I'm only going to do one. Which one?
I want the 100,000.
So you want to give me 100,000 for $1 million. So if you could only do one of those, you'd rather give me 100,000 for $1 million.
Yes.
Okay, in the chat and on Facebook, how many of y'all agree with Odell? Type in I agree. If you disagree, type in I disagree. Okay, so you take the same thing. If you take the same choice he took, type in I agree. Okay, I see a lot of I agrees coming. Okay, so to me it sounds like all of you already know that if I can provide a 10x return for whatever your investment is, it is a good deal for you. Right? Which means if you can provide a 10x return for your client, it's a good deal for them. So what does that mean? Here's the philosophy of high ticket. I want to be able to produce for somebody 10 times in the next 12 months whatever they pay me. Odell, if you paid me $100,000 and I paid you out the $1 million over a year, would you still be okay with it?
Absolutely.
Exactly. Because if you wouldn't, like, okay, so literally, like, I want to make sure that I can produce a 10x result for people. If I can produce a 10x result for them, then this is how I think about high ticket. Are y'all ready? Everybody do this with me. Hold your hands out like this. Okay, I'm gonna stand over here a little further. Okay, so hold your hands out like this. Repeat after me. I don't have to hear you, but just repeat after me. When the value's this big, and the price is this big, they always buy. What the mistake most business owners make when they've got this much value and the price is this much, even if that price is 50,000, 100,000, what they do, they think the person didn't buy because of the price. And so they lower the price, but the value stays big. But they didn't even do a good job showing the value, so they lower the price again. Person still says no, they lower the price again. What you ought to do when you're selling high ticket, instead of lowering your price because people don't get it, get better at uncovering the value. And then you don't have to lower the price. Y'all picking up what I just put down? Hey, okay, now I get it. Watch. So y'all see this $1 Million Day Award? I'm going to put my $1 Million Day Award shield on, right? So $1 Million Day Award, right? So when we help somebody have $1 million day, right? We give them this award. They get to hang it on their wall. $1 Million Day, right? I think we've given out 4 or 5 of these so far. Next speaker training, which is coming up next month, we're giving away 4 more of these, and 13 or 14 $100,000 day awards. How many of y'all would agree that's pretty remarkable, right? And we're not talking about $1 million over the year. We're talking about $1 million in a day. Why do I give people this? A couple things. Well, the shield. It's a shield, but it has this is the M. This is my logo, the M, and this is the G. So the M represents the crown. That's what this is an image of. It's a crown. This is a shield. What is that? What does that show? That shows provision is the crown, protection is the shield. Why? Because the scripture says a rich man's wealth is his strong city, but the destruction of the poor is their poverty. So when I teach people how to build businesses and they have $1 million day, I give them a shield that represents provision and protection. Why? That's what God said to Abram when he came to Abram in Genesis chapter 15. He said, "Fear not, Abram, I am your shield and your exceeding great reward," right? Provision and protection. And so I teach people how to create wealth so they can build a financial fortress around their families. So with that in mind, now we can get into the workbook, because now, how many of y'all are thinking better about high ticket now? Like the whole concept of high ticket is making way better sense to you now, right? Okay, cool. So let's go to the manual for today, the workbook, Make More Offers Challenge. Let's go down to page 1. What is an offer? We talked about this. Why do I keep talking about what is an offer every day? Because this is called the Make More Offers Challenge, right? So I want you to make sure, I want to make sure you got offer etched into the cerebral cortex of your brain, right? It becomes a part of your gray matter. What's an offer? An offer is the opportunity you give a potential client to exercise their desire to buy or otherwise obtain the thing or things that you have helped them realize that they've desired all along at a price that you previously decided on and they subsequently agreed to which now they expect to use to make their experience of life exponentially better. That's what an offer is. So you want to make sure that your offer meets all those criteria. How many of y'all know that the offer that I made for you to come join me on the Make More Offers Challenge, like as a result of being on the challenge so far, I mean, just the stuff you've learned so far, how many of you can see clearly that your life is about to get exponentially better because your knowledge base is exponentially greater about business, right? Okay, cool. So I want to make sure I was in the right room, and I wanted to make sure that people on Facebook could see this is not just me talking to myself, right? I mean, in this, like this challenge is so vital to people. We sold 43 VIP tickets. We sold 47 general admission tickets, and we had 6 upgrades to VIP. So we had, like, out of the 90 people that are in this challenge, 48 of them are VIPs. 49 of them are VIPs. That's crazy town. Why? But have you gotten more than 10 times the value already? Well, that's how it's supposed to work, right? Okay, that's what offer is. What's a script? A script is the written text of a play, a movie, or broadcast. By the way, as a professional, you need to know what you're going to say. You need to have scripts. Like I go on Clubhouse, I have my Clubhouse scripts, right? And they're not scripts that I sat down and intentionally memorized. They're concepts that I memorized. But like if you have to memorize them as scripts, at the beginning, memorize them as scripts. The difference between professionals and amateurs is professionals know their lines, and they've practiced them from a place of feeling, not just from a place of repeating. Y'all picking up what I'm putting down? Okay. What another definition of a script is a computer program. In a computer programming, a script is a program or sequence of instructions that is interpreted or carried out by another program rather than by the computer processor. As a compiled program is like when you compile a program like Microsoft Word, the processor runs the script. But a JavaScript script in a web page runs on the client side on the web browser. So it's a program the browser runs instead of a program the CPU runs, right? Okay. So I'm going to call a script predetermined phrases that were written and spoken for the purpose of producing a thought and manufacturing emotion in the people that hear it. That's Myron Golden's definition of a script. So what is it? It's a predetermined phrase or predetermined phrases that were written and spoken for the purpose of producing a certain thought and manufacturing an emotion in the people who hear it. Now, how many of you, like in the words of Billy Joel, honesty, such a lonely word. Okay, so I want y'all to be honest with me. How many of you, and you can type it in if you're on the VIP, or if your face isn't showing, type it in. But if you're not, if you're on Facebook, type in your answer. How many of you feel a little uneasy and a little yucky about the idea of selling? It's okay, be honest. Okay, none of the VIP. Okay, a couple of VIPs. Okay, cool. Okay, good. Okay, how many of you at some point in your life you felt a little yucky about selling? Okay, cool, but not anymore. Okay, so I'm going to tell you one of the things. How many of you would love to be oversubscribed, which means you'd love to have people lined up out the door and around the corner to pay you high dollar? How many of y'all like that? Okay, so I'm going to tell you how you can create that environment of buyers for you. How many of y'all excited about that? Type in, I'm excited. Okay, I'm going to tell you how do you become oversubscribed and create a marketplace of people who are just jacked out of their minds to pay you a lot of money. Okay, before I tell you that, I'm going to ask a question. Want somebody to type the answer, and if you've heard me talk about this before, I want you to type the answer as fast as you can. This is a race. It's not a test for who can come up with the right answer. It's a test for who can type their answer in the fastest. Y'all ready? So get your fingers ready over your keyboard. What does a tree have to do to bear apples? Type it in. Type in your answer. Type it in. Grow. Okay. Fruitful. Grow. Okay. Type it in. Type it in. Type it. Produce fruit. Okay. Boom. Boom. These answers are coming in fast. Grow. Okay. Perfect. On Facebook, I hope you guys are participating as well. So here's the answer. In order for a tree to produce apples, it has to be an apple tree. Right? It has to be an apple tree. Why am I talking about that? Well, because I live in Florida. We got a lot of orange trees down here. Here's one of the things I've never seen. I've never seen an apple growing on an orange tree. Never once. Why? Because in every aspect of life, the fruit will always match the root. Did I say that too fast? The fruit will always match the root. If the root is an apple tree, the fruit will be apples. Period. Now, why did I say that? Because everything reproduces after its own kind. And I'm going to tell you how you can have an army, a multitude of people lined up out the door and around the building to pay you a top dollar for what you sell. Become that kind of buyer. Become the kind of buyer who, when you go into a shoe store and somebody says, "Can I help you?" you don't look at them and say, "No, I'm just looking." Right? When you walk into a car lot and somebody says, "Oh, so what are you looking for today?" "I'm not looking for anything. I'm just looking at cars." Like, your whole vibe is saying, "Leave me alone. Stop trying to get in my pocket." Stop being that dude. Stop being that dudette. Start being the kind of person, start being the kind of customer you desire to attract. Like, when I go to a restaurant, I'm happy to pay my bill. I ain't kind of happy. I'm jacked out of my mind. I am so, especially when I get good service, I'm so looking forward to making my server's day with the tip that I'm about to give them. I met with a good friend of mine the other day, and he wanted to meet with me, and he's a really, 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 really super good friend, like the kind of friend you think of as family, right? So I met him for breakfast the other day. And because I was doing him a favor meeting him, he was like, "Oh, let me pay for breakfast." "No, I'm not letting you pay for breakfast." Ordinarily I would, but I'm not letting you pay for breakfast. Why? Because this is a place I come to every day. And I have created a standard for the kind of tipping I do here. And I'm going to take really good care of my people. And so I'm going to take really, really good care of this guy. Now, the guy that waited on us, his name's Brian. He's one of my favorite waiters. And he's just a good dude, young man. And he's always got good conversation, good service. And this is his last week. And I knew it was his last week. And I got a bowl of fruit and a morning meditation. And my friend got some breakfast and a kale tonic. And I think it came to like $15. I gave this kid a $50 tip on a $15 meal because it was his last day. Now, if it wouldn't have been his last day, I'd have given him a $20 tip. Why? Because if I have good service at a restaurant, yeah, indeed. Sarah, you know me, don't you? Yeah. So if I have good service at a restaurant, the minimum the server's going to get is $10 per person in my party. Minimum. Why? Because I believe the stuff that I teach you. I don't just talk about it. I don't love the money and use the people. I use the money and love the people. And as often as I possibly can, I use the money to love the people. And if you will stop resisting every time somebody is attempting to sell you something and know you're about to have a wonderful experience, you say, "But man, somebody's telling me something's not a wonderful experience." Well, it is if you'll let it be. Because only two things can happen if somebody's trying to sell you something. And if somebody has an intention of selling you something, one of two good outcomes is going to happen. They're either going to do a really, really good job and you can learn how to be better at sales, or they're going to do a really, really bad job and you can learn how to be better at sales by not being as bad as they were. And either way, you win. So I'm excited every time somebody's ready to sell me something because I go into learning mode. My learning antenna go up. "Oh, I want to use that. Oh, I don't want to use that. Oh, I want to use that. Oh, I don't want to use that." Right? And the main thing that I'm going to pay attention to when somebody is selling something to me, the primary thing that I'm paying attention to is how are they making me feel? Do I like the way they're making me feel? Good. I'm going to use what they just did to make other people feel that way. I don't like how they're making me feel? Great. I'm going to make sure I never do anything to make somebody feel that way. Right? So literally, every time you're in a selling situation, it can be a learning situation for you. How cool is that? So become the kind of buyer who, when it comes time for you to pay, you're happy to pay. Why? Because if I'm happy to pay the people who serve me, the people I serve will be happy to pay me. What goes around comes around. Everything reproduces after its own kind. Is what I'm saying making sense to y'all? So become a happy buyer. It's a game changer. And so do you realize part of the reason you feel like selling is hard is because you know how you feel every time somebody wants to sell something to you, and you don't want people to feel that way about you. So if you want to change the whole dynamic, you have to change it in yourself first. Like somebody's trying to sell me something. I'm excited. So I'm assuming that when I'm getting ready to sell somebody else something, I'm assuming they're excited. Why? It's the seed I've sown. It's a better way to live your life. Okay? So here we go. So that's the script. What's mastery? Mastery is the ability to execute effortlessly without the use of conscious resources. I think all of you can see that there are a lot of components that go into building a business, and you're going to have to learn to master each one of those components at a time. And then over time, you're going to be able to stack those components on top of each other. And one of these days, you will be the kind of person who, when you stand up to make a sale, you will be able to effortlessly sell more than other people sell with a lot of effort. Right? Does that make sense? Okay. So let's look at HSO scripts. What are HSO scripts? Hook, story, offer scripts. Russell Brunson popularized the hook, story, offer. He didn't invent it, but he popularized it. We were at an inner circle meeting one time, and Russell was teaching on hook, story, offer, hook, story, offer, hook, story, offer. Somebody said, hey, Russell, I got a question. What's the difference between the hook and the story? I don't get it. He said, well, it's this, and the other thing. He taught some more. Somebody else said, Russell, I'm not quite clear on the difference between the hook and the story. I don't get it. So I said, one of the things I love to do is I love to define things. So I said, I'm going to create a definition for hook, a definition for story, and a definition for offer. And I'm going to say, okay, I know a lot of you have been struggling because one of the things we do at our Inner Circle Masterminds is we all share, right? I can see a lot of you have been struggling to figure out what's the difference between the hook and the story. I said, Russell, I came up with something. You can tell me whether or not you think it's good because this is your mastermind. Like, I'm just here to help, right? I said, a hook is an asset that stops you in your tracks and changes the direction of your attention. So the purpose of the hook is to change the direction of the attention of the person you put the hook in front of. Does that make sense? So a hook could be a phrase, it could be a song, it could be a sound, it could be an expression, it could be a funny face that you make. It's something that stops people in their tracks and makes them pay attention. Wait, what? Right? So that's a hook. A story is the historical or metaphorical experiences of people that your ideal client can relate to emotionally. So if you're telling a story about somebody, you want the story that you're telling about that person to be somebody your clients can relate to emotionally, right? That they can justify logically. So whatever conclusion the person in your story, whether that person is you or whether that person is one of your clients, or whether that person is somebody in your family, you want to tell a story that when it concludes, it helps the people you're telling the story to logically justify the action they are now feeling like taking. Does that make sense? Are y'all with me? Shake your head up and down if you're picking up what I'm putting down. Okay, cool. So that your ideal client can relate to emotionally, justify logically, and remember perpetually. You want to make it a story because stories are easy to remember. Remember perpetually that causes them to feel like they know you, causes them to genuinely like you, and then believe that they can trust you. That's the purpose of a story. Stories sell, facts just tell. So tell a story. When you're telling a story, here's the story you should tell. You should tell a story that about a person who used to feel like your client feels. And then they came to some inspiration and some illumination that changed the way they felt. And now they feel a different way. They took an action and then they got a totally different result. Even if you're telling a story about yourself, I should only tell a story about myself if the story I'm telling about myself helps you understand that I was where you are until I learned different. That's why I told you all the story earlier this morning. Like earlier today, I said, well, when I first started selling high ticket, my high ticket price was, it was so high, I thought nobody was going to pay me that. Why? Because some of you were thinking, nobody's ever going to pay me high ticket. So I told you a story about when I remembered back to when I used to think nobody's going to pay me high ticket. And I remember making the price as high as my mind would let me, and I thought it was so far out of the universe of possibility that nobody was ever going to, not that nobody's going to pay me then, nobody's ever going to pay me, and I offered it, 2 people bought it, which changed my belief. And then I offered it again at a higher price, more people bought it. And the more I raised the price, the more people bought it. Now, how many of you, for you, it feels at least a little counterintuitive to you that when the prices goes up, the buyers increase? Is there anybody that's counterintuitive, like that belief, wait, you raise the price and more people buy? Yes, you raise the price and more people buy. Here's why. Because, and I'm teaching you about high ticket, if you are the cheapest, nobody believes you're the best. And if you're the best, nobody expects you to be the cheapest. People believe things that cost more are better. Sometimes that is true. Sometimes it is not true. But it's for the purpose of what we're talking about right now, whether or not it's true is irrelevant. Because it's what people believe is true, you want to work with that human nature. If you work with human nature works for you. If you work against human nature works against you. If you are working against human nature, you are fighting a battle you cannot win. Are y'all with me? Yes? Okay, cool. So understand that when you're telling a story, the purpose of the story is to make them relate, show them that you used to be where they are, and now you're here because of you've changed this belief, faith or doubt, right? You changed the focus in your head, which changed the feeling in your heart, which changed the function in your hand, which what? It changed the fruit in your fruit basket, right? So now everything's changed, all because you changed your focus, okay? So, and all you're doing is telling stories to help them shift their focus. Well, get them to ask the question, well, what if I started believing now what he believed, and I start doing what he believes instead of doing what I believe? Well, if you start doing what I believe, then you're going to start producing results like the ones I produce. You can't not. That's Texan before you have to. Okay. So I always pick on Texas because my wife is from Texas. Okay. And Texans think Texas is awesome. I'm not saying they're wrong. I'm just saying that's what they think. I don't have a dog in that fight. Okay. So, all right. So, what is an offer? An offer is the opportunity you give a potential client to exercise their desire to buy the thing or the things that you help them realize they've desired all along at the price that you previously decided on, and they have subsequently agreed to, and they now expect to use to make their experience of life exponentially better. So that's the story. That's the Hook Story Offer script. That's the HSO script. Now, hook scripts. When you're creating a hook, how do you make a hook really, really good? It has to be attention grabbing. Hey, right? It has to be attention. In fact, we did an ad one time. It just said, hey. It had like the word hey bouncing up in red, white letters with a red background all over the screen. Hey. And then it said, turn up your speakers, a Facebook ad, turn up your speakers. And then I started talking, right? Okay, so attention grabbing. These are the ABCs of creating hooks. It needs to be attention grabbing. It needs to be brief in time. One of the things that all of you are going to need to practice, you're going to need to practice getting to the point. No one wants to hear you ramble in a drunkalogue. You know how when people get drunk, they just talk forever and they don't say anything? Okay, that's how people sound when they can't get to the point. Okay, that's called a rambling drunkalogue. Okay, anyway, so you want to be brief in time. Get to the point. You're better off sitting down and making them wish you were still standing than you ought to remain standing and make them wish you had sat down and shut up a long time ago. That's always the case. Got it? Type in I got it if you got it. Okay, it needs to be attention grabbing, brief in time, and it needs to create curiosity. And creating curiosity could be asking a question, but oftentimes it's making a statement with an open loop. You're about to discover the 14 biggest mistakes speakers make that keep them from getting booked on big stages. I'm about to discover what? I'm a speaker. Am I making any of those mistakes? I didn't tell them what the mistakes were. 14 biggest mistakes that keep, they know part of the equation, but I didn't tell them the whole equation. Y'all see that? That's what you want to use in your lead magnet hook. Like you're about to discover the future. You also want to use it when you are transitioning in your talk from one point to the next point, right? You want to create an open loop. You want to tell them a part of what they're about to discover and then let the rest of it unfold as it unfolds. Okay. So it needs to be brief in time. It needs to be attention grabbing, brief in time, and it needs to create curiosity. The ABCs of story are they need an avatar they can relate to. If you are telling a story, if you're speaking at a women's conference and you want to tell a transformational story, don't tell a transformational story about a man. If you're speaking at a men's conference and you're going to tell a transformational story, don't tell a transformational story about a woman. If you're speaking at a conference for artists, music artists, painting, don't tell a transformational story about a scientist. If you're speaking at a scientific conference, don't tell a transformational story about an artist. You got to make sure the avatar that's in your story is somebody that people in your audience can relate to. Does that make sense? Okay. And then you need to tell how that avatar had a belief and a dream. And that dream oftentimes is the same dream that the people in your audience have, but to them, it feels impossible. And so you have to share in the story how that same dream used to feel impossible to your client. But now they're experiencing it. So belief in a dream. And then lastly, it concludes with conviction. And the conviction you want that you want your story to conclude with is this process always produces this payoff, right? Like, it's not possible. Do you realize it's not possible for you to apply the same principles to high ticket selling that I apply and have them not work for you and they work for me? Principals don't like me any more than they like you. The difference is I am somebody that maybe you've not become yet. I've become the kind of person maybe you've not become yet. I do the kind of things maybe you have not allowed yourself to do yet. So I have stuff that you've not been allowed to have yet. That's all. That's the only difference. I'm not smarter than you. I'm not better than you, right? I'm not stronger than you. Well, I'm probably stronger than you. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not stronger than you, right? I'm definitely goofier than you. Okay, so now that we got that out of the way. Okay, now offer scripts. When you make an offer, they have to see clearly how these are the ABCs of the offer script. They have to see how your offer alters their life for the better. See, I know KB was here yesterday. I'm going to look for Maddie V's not here. I don't know if KB's here or not. KB's not here. Okay. Well, like Mark told his story this morning, he made an $18,000 sale this week from something he overheard in the VIP, right? Yesterday, Ryan was on, and he was talking about how the podcast and the Bible Success Academy changed his life, right? And he is like, and so different people are in different places. And so one of the things I've got to do is I've got to make sure that wherever you are, when I'm showing you my transformation, I have to be able to show you that it is, I'm really great. I'm great at looking at the wrong screen. I have two screens here: my TV monitor screen, my computer screen. I have to be able to show you how your life is going to be better. And do you realize now? Here's what, though everybody picked. Like, I'd rather pay you $100,000 and make the million. Everybody picked that, right? You got to understand, if you've never paid anybody $100,000 before, that's going to be hard for you. Right? You're gonna be like, yeah, 100,000. Yeah, I want the million, but like, I'm not sure I can believe that I can get that outcome. So you have to be better at demonstrating to them that you can get them that outcome, and some of the how you can get them that outcome, so they believe you can get them that outcome more than they believe that if they pay you this money, they're going to just be flushing it down the toilet, and a year from now, their life is going to be the same. You got to show them how the offer alters their life for the better, alters their future for the better. You have to break old beliefs. How do you break old beliefs? You break old beliefs, one, by telling them how you used to have the same beliefs, right, that they have now, and what you did to overcome them. So you tell them how you overcame those old beliefs. But the other thing you want to do is you have to show them how the belief they have right now is not serving them, right? Because obviously, if there's something in your life that you desire to have and you don't have it, the reason you don't have it is because of something you believe. It's not giving you the opportunity to believe it. So now you got this thing you got to you can't change. You don't need to change anything out here. Everything out here is already doing what it's supposed to be doing. What you got to do is you got to change what's going on in here, right? Okay. So, and then you have to show them that the offer that you've made clearly creates a value that's greater than the price. Okay. So I'm gonna have an interaction with my main man, leading actor, Odell again. Odell, how do you like being the leading character in the Make More Offers Challenge? You're the leading actor. Do you like that?
Man, I'm here for it, bro.
You digging it? Okay. So if I say to you, okay, this is perfect. So if I say to you, Odell, you give me $10 and I give you $10. How much did we have before we did that transaction? $10, right? So if we stand here and exchange $10 all day long, and we just keep going $10 back and forth, and we do it all day, at the end of the day, how much do we both still have? $10. So there would be no viable reason for us to do that. It wouldn't make sense, right? Would you agree with that? Okay.
Yep.
So in order for me to say, hey, Odell, give me $10, I'd have to say, I'll tell you what, you give me $10, I'll give you $100. Now, does it make sense to do that?
Absolutely.
And you would probably really be excited about doing that deal all day, right? Every time you give me 10, I give you 100. Say, man, what's the point? Here's the point. People will never pay your price because they believe what you're selling is worth the money. If it's worth the money, then you're doing an even for even exchange, and it's basically a waste of time. Nobody buys your offer because your offer is worth the money. People will only buy your offer when they believe that your offer is worth more than the money. And if your offer is worth more than the money, then they'll buy. If your offer is not worth more than the money, they don't buy. So the question then becomes, how do you make your offer worth more than the money without you being taken advantage of? You have to find a price where you believe that, hey, I'm being served at a high enough level, but on the same token, they have to feel like they're being served at a high enough level. So I'm willing to exchange some of my brain cells for some of your money. Why? Because no matter how many brain cells I may have 400 quadrillion brain cells. But when I go to Publix, they want me to have some money. So I'm going to exchange some of my brain cells, some of my knowledge for some of your money. So when I go to Publix, I have a currency they're willing to take. Because if I just tell them, hey, I got a lot of brain cells, I'll be happy to send you some. They're like, I don't know what your problem is, but obviously the kind of brain cells you have, we don't want them because you're a whack job, right? So I've got to figure out how can I take something I know, put it in a package that makes it valuable for somebody else to know because their life gets better. And then they give me money that's worth less than this to them, but it's worth something to me because now I can use that money to go and exchange it for something else. This is how we do high ticket sales. And when you learn how to do this, high ticket sales becomes easier than low ticket sales used to be. Woo, woo. Congratulations for being in the right place at the right time. Okay, so with that in mind, let's look at some homework. First of all, let's do an exercise we did this morning. I'm going to do it again. I'm going to ask all of you. I'm going to change the screen. I'm going to change the screen. I'm going to ask all of you, and how many of you would like for me to mention you in my Instagram story? Would that be cool? Okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to mention all of you. Every single person who does this, take a picture of this screen, of the screen right now. Make sure it's in gallery view. And then just say, on the Make More Offers Challenge with @MyronGolden. On the Make More Offers Challenge with @MyronGolden. And then say mind blown or something. Say something. I don't care. Mind blown, crazy town, unbelievable, so much value, whatever. I don't know, whatever your testimony is. And then put it on your Instagram story. Mention me in your Instagram story. Don't just make it as a post, make it a story post. When you make it a story post, if you will make it a story post, I'll get notified. I will share your story in my story, and maybe some of my 20-something thousand followers will follow you. Okay? All right, everybody got it? All right, so do that. Now, here's the homework. Figure out a 10x result that you can produce for somebody. What is a result that's worth 10 times the amount you're charging? Figure out what that is. Declare a premium hourly rate. So I didn't talk about this, but I'm going to talk about it right now. My hourly rate for coaching is $25,000 an hour. Say, Myron, how in the world can you possibly charge somebody $25,000 an hour like this? When they say, how much do you charge for hourly coaching? It's $25,000. And if they wanted me to coach them, I send them wire instructions first. And after the money clears my bank, then I send them the Zoom link. And then we talk for an hour. That's how I do it. How cool is that? Right? By the way, yours doesn't have to be $25,000 an hour. Now, you're probably wondering, why? Why do I charge $25,000 an hour? How many of y'all would like for me to share with y'all that story? Because I used to charge $5,000 an hour, right? And so I had this client, and he wasn't a coaching client. He wasn't an hourly coaching client. He bought my speaker training, the one that used to be $35,000, the one I stopped selling at $35,000. He bought it. He had a $5 million day. He did $5 million in sales in one day. Okay? So after he did $5 million in sales in one day, he's like, dude, I have never in my life experienced anything. And by the way, this guy's well known, has millions of YouTube subscribers, over 1 million Instagram followers. This guy's a big name, right? So he has a $5 million day, and he calls me and says, dude, how much do you charge for coaching? Because I want you to teach me the art of storytelling like you do storytelling. He just wanted to coach with me. I said, well, I charge $5,000 an hour. He's like, good. I just sent you $40,000. I want 8 hours. He sent me $40,000 on PayPal before I could even tell him not to. And I said, okay, that'll never happen again. I like him. He's a good dude. But I don't want somebody just owning 40 hours of my time, like out of the gate, like it's peanuts. So I said, from now on, it's $25,000 now. And yes, we've had people buy it at $25,000 an hour. Like, if you want to do a VIP day with me, I'll do a VIP day with anybody on this challenge right now. It's 200 grand. You come spend the day with me. You spend 8 hours. We'll spend some of the day on the golf course. We'll spend some of the day eating lunch. But the whole time we'll be talking about how to make your business grow. It's 200 grand. Why is it 200 grand? Because 8 hours times $25,000, $200,000. Boom, VIP day. Okay. So if that's what you want, just inbox me and I'll be happy to send you the wire instructions. Okay. And by the way, as much as you might be thinking, I don't want to send you $200,000. I don't want you to send it to me because I don't want to. I love you, but I don't want to have to spend all day with you. Okay. Anyway, I'm just keeping it real. Okay. I'm just being totally transparent right now. So that's why I charge $25,000 now, because I don't want somebody just plopping down 200 grand and getting 8 hours of my time. And we did the 8 hours once a week for 8 weeks, but still, like, it didn't feel like a job because he's a good dude. He's a really good marketer. He's really coachable. But I just don't want to. No, I don't want to make it that easy for you. So anyway, keeping it real. So one of the things that you have to do if you're going to get good at selling high ticket is you have to declare a new hourly rate. My challenge for you is to make sure that you tell people from now on your hourly rate, all of you, I am dubbing you worth right now no less than $1,000 an hour. So from now on, when somebody says, how much do you charge for coaching? And you're telling them an hourly rate, from now on, just tell them $1,000 an hour. You're going to be shocked when people start paying it to you. I get that. But go ahead and be shocked. Okay? But people will not value you until they realize you are worth valuing. And no one will ever assign more value to you than you assign to yourself. And I know my time's worth $25,000 an hour. And if I charge somebody $25,000 an hour and they spend an hour talking to me, yes, I know they're going to make, if they do what I told them in the hour, I know they will make more than $250,000. There's no doubt in my mind about it. So you just have to figure out what the result is that you get for people, charge a premium hourly rate. It can be whatever. You can charge up to $100,000. I don't care. That's between you and your clients. But from now on, forevermore, because you are on the Make More Offers Challenge, never again will you ever accept less than $1,000 an hour. Unless, of course, somebody says, okay, will you give me a discount? Well, not less than 1,000. If it's 1,000, don't even give any discounts, right? Okay, so that's my challenge to you. So that's declare a premium hourly rate. That's homework piece number 2. Okay. Find some case study clients to create proof for. So all of you can produce results for people. Find 3 people that you can produce a result for and produce that result for them for free in exchange for you being able getting a video testimonial from them of how their life transformed. And instead of going around telling people how good you are, just go around telling people how good your students are and how the results they're creating. And you go around bragging on your students, and the bragging you do on your students will create all of the clients you could ever want. Okay? Now, I'm telling you, this is game changer. Russell Brunson built a multi-$100 million software company telling the success story of Organifi. I forgot the Organifi guy's name, but Organifi, Liz Benny, and Natasha Haslett. And he just recorded their video testimonials and he showed them to everybody. He said they had this result because of this, and then people would buy that. They had this result because of this, and people would buy that. Like, I spend way more time talking about how much money my clients make than I spend talking about how much I make, right? Why do I do that? Because everybody knows I can do it. I'm the guy. I can do it. He's Myron. He's got special powers. He's from Planet Krypton, right? Or whatever, right? Planet Vulcan, right? Oh, that was Nanu. He's from Mork and Mindy land. Is that Vulcan or is that Mork and Mindy? I don't remember. Okay, anyway, whichever one it is. So, but like everybody already thinks I can do it. That's why what I do is I parade my success story students in front of people. And I've got so many success stories, it becomes incontrovertible that if you become one of my clients, you are going to have great success. Like, that's inarguable. Like, we've got people who've been working with me for less than a year that have never thought about having $1 million day till they were in my inner circle. And now I got one guy who had $2 million days in a 30-day time period. What? Okay, so all of that, hopefully that blesses you. So here's what I'm going to do today for all of you in the Facebook group, for all of you in the VIP. Friday, I'm going to make an offer. I'm not making an offer today. I am going to take applications today. If you think, how many of you think you might like to work with me if you can afford it? If it makes sense financially, you'd like to work with me. Okay, cool. So what we're going to do is we're going to see if you qualify. Okay? And I don't know if you qualify. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. So you're going to apply today. You are not paying me any money today. I'm not taking any money from you today. Don't send me any money today, because if you send me some money today, I'm going to send it back to you with a letter that says, congratulations, you disqualified yourself because you can't follow instructions. And since you can't follow instructions, and I got all these instructions for you to follow, you can't follow me. But we still friends, and I love you, okay? So now you know. Okay, so don't send any money. Fill out the application completely, answer every question. Fill out the appropriate application for you. I'm going to ask Laura to drop the link to the application page into the chat again for the VIPs, and also into the Facebook group. Click the link, fill out the application today. We're only going to accept 44 people out of the 90 people in this challenge. We're only going to accept 44 people into the coaching program that we're going to offer on Friday. We're only going to take 44. We're not taking 45. And I don't care if we have 90 people that have the money, we're only taking 44. And I am a person of my word. If I tell you I'm only taking 44, you can hurry up and know I ain't taking 45. And if you fill out an application, that is not a guarantee that you're going to get one of those 44 spots. If you don't fill out an application, congratulations, you've disqualified yourself. And now I don't have to deal with you, and you don't have to deal with me, and everybody's happy. Does everybody understand the instructions? Okay, cool. So that's fill out that application. Post a video testimony on the Facebook group about your biggest takeaway from day 4. Make sure I'm in Myron Golden's Make More Offers Challenge. I'm blown away because, boom, and then say whatever you're blown away because, okay? All right, resources to order, a Bible. Oh, there it is again. Now, as far as high ticket sales, one of the best books you will ever read on high ticket sales and how to become better at thinking about as well as executing high ticket sales is the No BS Guide to Marketing to the Affluent by Dan Kennedy. The No BS Guide to Marketing to the Affluent by Dan Kennedy. Great book. Okay. Second book, Oversubscribed by Daniel Priestley. Like, if you have not read Oversubscribed, I'm telling you, you're leaving money on the table. Third book, Key Person of Influence by Daniel Priestley. Like, you need both of those books. They are essential. Okay. The next book is called The Challenger Sale, and it's a book that basically teaches you how to challenge people to make sales instead of bending over backwards and capitulating to the whims of every follower that you have to try to please everybody. I love all of you. I think you can tell that I really care about you, but I'm not going to follow you. And I'm not going to Myron, well, I hear what you're saying, but why don't you do it this way? Wait a minute. I didn't come to your challenge. You came to mine. So we're going to do it my way. I know my way works. I don't know if your way works. And one of the biggest mistakes I see in the marketplace with coaches and consultants, and I saw this first in network marketing, is people who try to lead their leaders and follow their followers, right? Like, I used to be in multi-level marketing. One of the people on my team would say, well, Myron, why don't you do it this way? I'd go back to my upline and say, why don't you do it this way? Instead of telling my downline what my upline was saying, I was telling my upline what my downline was saying. It's crazy. I'm going to tell you something right now. I'm going to tell all of you something right now. Good coaching, like really, really, really stellar next level coaching, 99% of the time, it's going to be counterintuitive to you. Think about it. If I'm going to coach you, if everything I say makes sense to you, you don't need me. And if something I say doesn't make sense, if nothing I say doesn't make sense to you, I'm not the coach for you. Because if it already makes sense to you, you'd already be doing it. So, like, most of the things I am going to teach you as a coach are going to be counterintuitive to you in the beginning until they become, oh, well, now it makes sense, right? Like, it was so, like, Neo Davis. Some of y'all may know Nehemiah Davis. You may not. If you're not look him up on Instagram and follow him. Like, this dude, he's like 31, 32 years old. I don't know how old he is, 31, 32 years old. Like, he had $2 million days in like a 30-day time period. Like, when I first started talking to him about $1 million days, he was having a hard time wrapping his mind around. Now he's working on his $5 million day and his $10 million day. Ryan, that was here yesterday, who's getting ready to join my inner circle, we've already mapped out how he's going to have his first $20 million day. And like, I told him too, I said, look, here's the deal. Like, somebody has $100,000 day, they get this little dagger, like, and it says 100K day. It's really cool. It's like and the reason, because my business model is based on the business model of King Solomon, right? King Solomon's Wisdom Inner Circle is my inner circle, right? Because I teach people the business model of King Solomon. I teach them the practices of Solomon, the prayer of Solomon, the partnerships of Solomon. I teach them all these different Solomonic principles, right? So you get a dagger. It's like an old kingly dagger in a sheath, and it sits on a little shelf. It's really cool. It's about this long, and that's their 100K day. And we're giving out like 12 or 13 of those in the next couple of weeks at our event. And then they get the $1 Million Day Award. The $1 Million Day Award. This is our original $1 Million Day Award. The new one is a black shield with a silver tip in the middle of the crown, a silver tip. But the shield itself is black with the gold M and the gold G. It's really powerful. So that's the new $1 Million Day Award. And so, that's when they get $1 Million Day. When they have a $5 Million Day, they're going to get like a King Solomon sword. It's going to be so cool. It's going to be like a kingly sword and a kingly sheath. It's so cool. And then when they have the $10 Million Day, they're going to get a crown. Are y'all ready for this? When they have a $20 Million Day, especially if they have me do the pre-pitch and the repitch, only if they have me do the pre-pitch and the repitch, when they have a $20 Million Day, and I already have a map for how they can get the $20 million. So that's easy. Like, I already know how to get somebody $20 million in a day. I can help somebody map out a $20 million day. There's no doubt. It's all numbers and human psychology. Basic 5th grade math, human psychology, right? When they have a $20 million day, they're going to have me do a pre-pitch and a repitch. You don't know what that means, but I get paid a percentage of the pre-pitch. So I'll do a pre-pitch, which means I'll pre-frame their students for their offer. And then when they make sales, I get 25% of all their sales. So let's say I pre-frame them and they do, let's say they do $10 million in sales. I'd get $2.5 million for that. And then I'm going to get up and then I'm going to do on a repitch, and I'm going to make their offer to their same audience again. And then I get 40% of those sales, and I'll probably do another 10 million. I get 4 million from that. So I'll make $6.5 million, right? When they have their $20 million day. Watch this. I'm going to give them the King Solomon's chariot of their choice. It could be a Rolls Royce, it could be a Lamborghini, it could be a Maserati, it could be a Ford F-150, and it's going to have, you know how the people have doors where you open the door and the logo shines on the ground? It's going to say it's going to have my logo, and then it's going to say $20 Million Day Award. Boom. It's going to be so great. Probably get custom floor mats for it too that say the same thing. It's going to be like dope, fresh, crazy, next level stuff for the first $20 Million Day Award winner. I don't know what we're going to do for a $100 Million Day person. We might have to buy them a plane. I don't know. We haven't even gotten that far yet. Okay. So anyway, now y'all see what we're doing. Fill out the application. If you're making less than $20,000 a month consistently, click the one that's for less than $20,000 a month. You don't fill out both applications. If you're making more than $20,000 a month, you get on the application page, you click the I'm making less than $20,000 a month. I'm more than $20,000 a month consistently. On that one, you apply for the inner circle, and then you book a call with our team, and we'll see if you qualify for that. And we have funding available, so you don't have to worry about how much it costs, because we have funding available for you. Number one, we have multiple ways to fund both offers, so don't worry about it. It will be something that all of you have the ability to take advantage of if you decide to. And if you don't decide not to, we're not going to twist your arm. We ain't going to beg you. We ain't going to bug you. We ain't going to drag you in, because we don't want to drag you around. So, but for those of you who already know you're ready for your life to change for the better exponentially, congratulations in advance. Fill out the application. It's not a guarantee, but at least it's a chance. And in the meantime, in between time, I'll look forward to seeing y'all tomorrow, on which we're going to cover continuity offers. And I'm going to show you the power of continuity offers and the virtual millionaire formula. Give yourselves a hand for being here today. Good stuff, good stuff, good stuff. And I'll see you next time. Bye for now.